You are now tuned in to DameSmiff.
Welcome to Musician Talks with DameSmiff, and this is episode 30. And today I'm going to talk about commitment as an artist, and I want to also get into how to manage your commitments as an artist too, especially in the music industry. But before I get started, make sure you like, share, and subscribe, and share this video with anybody who's interested in the music industry, creativity in general, or just wants to learn how to be a better artist and learn about the different soft skills you need as an artist. So, commitment as an artist. What is commitment as an artist? Typically, commitment means at least for an artist, a commitment to a certain project, a certain goal, or a certain milestone. But oftentimes, well, actually, in reality, most creatives are spontaneous and don't necessarily have the tendency to keep doing something that they don't necessarily enjoy or that doesn't inspire them anymore. And so sometimes commitment can come and go with certain ideas, projects, and roles as an artist. But it's very important as an artist to understand that you have to set and meet your goals as an artist, just like in any other industry. But that creativity needs to come at a priority. And what that means to me, at least, is if I decide to create as a musician an album or a song or things like that, I have to commit to at least finishing the song or the album before I scrap it, just to get into the what's the word? To build up your stamina as a creative, to understand that when you set your mind to something, you must finish it in order to say that you have completed a task. Oftentimes for artists, and this is really to nobody's fault, when an artist gets uninspired, sometimes in the middle of their creation, it's normal for them to stop and just push that project to the side and come back to it later. But this can be an issue for an artist in the music industry, especially if you have deadlines and certain uh, obligations for various people you work with. So it's hard to kind of grasp the idea that you have to be creative, be inspired, but also commit to something that you've decided to do, and that you may not be inspired to continue finishing. So the basic things that I use to make sure I uphold my commitment to either a project or maybe a gig or whatever, I always think of what I want to do with the end goal in mind. So I've spoken before in previous episodes about artists not having much intention when they're with their creations. So what that develops is a bit of muddiness and kind of chaos within your collection of art. When you have a intention behind what you're creating, you can visualize an end goal. Therefore, saying, like in my previous example, if you wanted to make an album, it's very smart to think about what you want to do with that album, what you want from that album, what the album looks and sounds like when it's finished, and what your expectation is once the album is finished. And keeping those things in mind will help fuel the inspiration that you have for the album, because oftentimes inspiration comes and goes just because of how you feel that day or maybe in that moment or whatever it is that has changed it. So as an artist, especially in the music industry, you want to keep your stamina up in actually creation completion. So for me personally, like I said, I make sure I have an end goal in mind. So with my albums, it may take a while to finish them, but there's still milestones that need to be met in a certain time frame for me to actually consider this a complete commitment. So other times I've made music where I would say like get in front of the piano and kind of jam out and record that, but that isn't necessarily a song. It's just a recording of maybe a practice session or even just an idea or something like that. But if I can't think of an end goal with this recording or this series of, maybe I have like a reference track or things like that. If I don't have an end goal with it, I usually don't continue to work on that. Now, I may keep it in a hard drive somewhere or something like that, but as far as committing to that track and making sure it comes to full fruition, it won't happen unless I make sure I have an end goal in mind. And that's how I handle that personally. So most of the music that you hear that I release was planned and what's the word? It was planned and not necessarily taken lightly. So oftentimes you'll see a lot of artists, especially today with the live stream community, where the music is just kind of just a conscious, consistent stream of just audio. And what can happen here is that the amount of music that you have to listen to and to refer to can get muddied up in what the artist wants to create as an identity as an artist. And also it muddies up the idea of who the artist is because there's so many different things going on. Now, if you're a musician who's maybe like a teacher or uh, your day-to-day busker and things like that, where the catalog and creation of your music isn't so heavy-handed in your career, then it would make total sense to keep doing what you're doing, especially if you have people that enjoy your artwork and love the spontaneity in your artwork, then it's working for you. So I wouldn't change a thing. But if you're a person who wants to develop a catalog that represents you as an artist or represents maybe you in terms of a resume as an artist, you want to be very active in how that resume is going to reflect you as an artist. So to put it back on myself, like in my social media accounts, you'll see a lot of my music around, but there's not really a commitment to social media to say that this represents me. But if you were to go to, let's say, my BandCamp or something like that, and you see the catalog of music I have, the music there has been carefully selected. Like it's not just beats I have in my hard drive or reference tracks I'm working on or background things like that. All that kind of thing, all those kind of things, I keep, away from what I would refer to as my resume as an artist for what I've created. And that's important to me because I want people to understand that I'm not an artist in the sense that I can do the task. I'm an artist in the sense that I have art. I have created collections, pieces, and things like that that reflect me and reflect the experiences that I have, or even people that I've worked with and things like that. But it's very important for artists to understand what commitment is and how they deal with it personally. And as I've said before, many artists, especially the more spontaneous ones, can pick up and drop many projects, ideas, and things like that as they feel. So it's not necessarily a wise business decision most times, but it is a reality of many artists that we're creative, we're spontaneous, you know, we can make something out of nothing. Therefore, it can turn back into nothing in an instant, depending on how we feel. So that was episode 30 of Musician Talks with DameSmiff, and I want you guys to like, share, and subscribe. The goal here with this YouTube channel is I want to get a conversation going with musicians and music lovers and fans alike, and get the subscriber count up to 1,000 so that I can live stream these conversations with actual musicians and artists and things like that. But for now, as we're doing this, I'm going to be here every day except for Wednesdays between 9 a.m. and 11 a.m. East Coast Standard Time. Now, these uploads will be typically, I'm going to try to do around 8 minutes to 15 to 20 minutes, around that rough range. So the conversations will basically be stemming from a topic that I'll be starting, and then it'll grow in either the comments or later videos. But like I said, that's it for me. This was episode 30, and we talked about commitment today, and I'm out.